that is why you get to see some men cheat. You get to see some men put their hands in some things. Yes.
Because please tell us the reason why the men cheat.
For example, you have a wife at home who is
she's always demanding,
and then suddenly probably you went for a meeting and you met a lady who is
self-sufficient,
independent. So for me, when you talk about bills, I feel a lot of things. They also say that love is not enough, but love is enough. Just depends on the context in we were talking about. I believe the butterfly is not enough. The butterfly feelings is not enough, but love in the biblical concept is more than enough.
People have had bitter experiences and have decided to make their experiences rules and are now teaching these rules. Because if you look at bills and you say we are sharing, we are now in a contract. So let's also draw up how much you would wash the plates, how many times you wash the plates at home, how many times you take the kids to school. Let's also have a map as to who sleeps with the child when the child is sick in the hospital. So if the child is admitted for 1 month, how many days would you stay in the hospital as against how many days I'll stay in the hospital?
Hello, fam. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition or episode of The Balance on the Pathfinder TV. And this is that place where we get to share our opinions freely and see life from our different perspectives. That's the idea, right? My name is Ambassador Jessie, and I am your host. Today, we are talking bills in marriage. And the question is, should bills be split in a marital relationship or in marriage? And if it should they be a sharing formula, a percentage, a degree to which each partner should be given a responsibility to do that? Now, why are we having this conversation? It is because this is a topic of discussion. Finances are a major part of marriage, clearly. And sometimes you can see the strain when they are, would I call them they're unspoken rules? I don't know if to say unspoken rules or if there are certain expectations that a partner can have that are not met. So whether it is the man or the woman in this regard, there are certain things that are not spoken about. And for some reason, I know couples find it very difficult to speak about money and finances, just like with other marital issues that are crucial. And so we are helping the marital society by having this conversation today and just looking at the perspectives of others and all of us, including you, and how this affects the home and how this can be done better and how it should be done in the first place. Okay? I have two married people here and a good representation of a married man and a married woman. So first I have Mr. Gbenga Olushola. He's a singer and a vocal expert. That's a voice trainer or blending expert. And that's what he does. And he's married, of course. He's a father, married with kids. And I have a professional here. I always like to have somebody who, kind of has studied these things. So I have Nancy Oblete. She is married, of course, and she's a marriage coach. Yeah. And here we go. Should bills be split or not? And if it shouldn't be, if it should be, to what degree, to what percentage? Here we go. Who should I begin with? Let me begin with Benga. No, I'm going to begin. Good thing you pointed in that direction so I can start with you.
Okay.
General perspective. It might not even be a yes or no answer. But what do you think about the topic of finances in marriage? That is it. That's the cocoa of the matter.
Okay. Thank you, Basti, for
You're welcome.
For having me on the show. And about bills, I think there are a lot of things that matter before even talking about bills.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe that marriage is an institution, like we all know, is an institution where you get the certificate before
you start the school.
Before you even face exams. You get, and then the exams, when we're in school, you give you heads up, like your exam is in so date, and then they give you the timetable, you prepare for it. But in marriage, the exams just come. They don't give you heads up. They don't give you the type of test that is coming to you. It doesn't give you that chance to. So I believe, first of all, there's something that people have focused on for a long time is the fact that marriage, you should understand your partner, which is good, which is part of it. Understand your partner, understand the partner. But another thing that people don't do is understanding the system itself, the marriage system.
I thought I had only one prof here. I have to. Go ahead.
It's very important to understand this. This thing I'm saying is something
you have learned, you have schooled, you have written the exam.
So, because I realized that when you get into marriage, the woman might be cool, the man might be cool, very cool, gentle, but there's an exam called, for example, God forbid you losing a child. How does the partner act in such? You don't know that person at that moment. You don't know how they react to such, whatever. So when the husband loses his job, how does the woman react? Say, I know I didn't marry for money. That's what they will say in the first place. But when it comes to I don't know if you've heard people talk like that. I met him in one room and do you understand? But I always believe that in the journey of marriage, you just don't know what happens. You don't know what comes, and you get. So for me, when you talk about bills, I feel a lot of things, they also say that love is not enough. But love is enough. It just depends on the context we were talking about. I believe the butterfly is not enough. The butterfly feelings is not enough, but love in the biblical concept is more than enough. Do you understand? And this is what I say. In the context of bills, I don't feel there should be any ratio.
Okay.
I don't think so, because I believe marriage is a system where two responsible adults, responsible. I want to emphasize that word, responsible and willing adults come together and make things happen. So that even when I'm down, you don't even know whether the man is down. You don't know whether the woman is down, or is the woman picking the bills, or is the man picking the bills. You don't know. So I think there shouldn't be, for my opinion, I don't think there should be any ratio, 50%. I was in a program yesterday and they talked about it too.
Okay.
In the program yesterday, and they were saying, okay, somebody say 70-30, 50-50. I say, okay, what if you get to the point where the man cannot
bring his
70? What happens? And once you've already put all those
rules and laws,
you get to that point where the woman can easily say, oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. But when there is a deeper anchor, where we know there is responsibility. For example, I think I saw a video on Instagram too, where the man was saying, I don't clean the house because I'm helping my woman. I clean the house because it's my space too. It's my responsibility. So
I'm taking my pen and paper because I'm having questions pop in my head. So
it's my responsibility. So I believe as a married man, at least Ambassador knows me to a very large extent. When it comes to my space, I'm responsible for my space. I'm responsible.
You're not
for
waiting on someone else.
I don't wake up in the morning and expect that, wifey, you're supposed to. I'll sit down and I'll say, have you bathed the children? Have you? No. They're my kids. They need to go to school. We need to eat. Like everybody needs to. So I just believe responsibility is key in marriage.
Okay. Let me let you roll. I'm taking my notes. Right? Let me let you roll.
Okay, so I like how you started saying that there's the role, there's marriage is about knowing your partner and also knowing the system. Now, I think that we are having this conversation because people have had bitter experiences and have decided to make their experiences rules and are now teaching these rules. Because if you look at bills and you say we are sharing, we are now in a contract. So let's also draw up how much you would wash the plates, how many times you wash the plates at home, how many times you would take the kids to school. Let's also have a map as to who sleeps with the child when the child is sick in the hospital. So if the child is admitted for 1 month, how many days would you stay in the hospital as against how many days I'll stay in the hospital? Okay. Let's also come to how we take care of our in-laws. What's the ratio of time, not just money? Because when it comes to in-laws, especially when you are having aging parents, you know that they will require a lot of attention. They may even have to come and stay with you. There are times you would have to take them to the hospital and spend nights with them. So let's also look at that and have a ratio, because now we are in a contract. We are no longer in a relationship. Yeah. This is about how much I can get from this relationship as against how much you can get. So
how much you can bring and how much I can bring.
Yes, how much I can bring. Because when we look at relationships and we want to make contracts out of some factors and leave out the other factors, it becomes an imbalance.
Okay.
Yeah. So relationships need finance to run. Who is able to provide the finance part time? What are the structures we have put in place to run our financial system as a family? These are the things we should be looking at. Now, researchers all over the world consistently, repeatedly have said that the most happy couples when it comes to their financial management systems are couples who have a joint accountability system.
Really?
Yeah.
Africa doesn't it cause more problems? We don't do joint accounts anymore.
No, not joint accounts, joint accountability.
Isn't joint accounts a sign that we have joint accountability?
It's a part of joint accountability.
Right,
now, a lot of people that have done joint account have done it wrongly. That's why it has failed. Not because joint account in itself will fail. Now, what we do with joint account is that we expect everybody to bring 100% of their monies and put into a joint account. One person will cheat the system because one of their values is independence. And if you don't have money, you cannot exercise independence. So we take all the money and put in one box and we say, before you touch money, I have to know. And the person is feeling like, so I have to take orders from you. I have to take permission from you.
So that's kind of unrealistic.
It's unrealistic. So the most effective joint accounts are joint accounts where we have for projects, for particular things that we are doing. So we put in that resource together and for that project. But we also have the partners in the system having the freedom to have certain control over some part of the resources that come into the family. If we are able to do it right, we'll get the right results. Now, we have done it wrong. So we've seen our parents, probably our grandparents, we've heard these stories. Some say it's the mother that it's only the wife's money that goes into the joint account. The man's money doesn't come. And eventually, when things go bad, she doesn't have anything to fall on and all. That's why they will never go for a joint account. It is not the joint account. It's the people running it. They didn't run the system with knowledge. So this is the problem. So I feel like as a people, instead of looking at the challenges, where the challenges actually came from with these systems, we criminalize the system. So now we are talking about bill sharing. What happens? You said something. You said that life is dynamic. You could marry somebody and both of you are cool. Then something happens.
Yeah.
Let me give a very good example. A woman initially didn't care about money. Then she now has 2 children who are in school and she's so passionate about their education. All of a sudden, her value for money will change. She will want, because those children need to remain stable to continue their schooling and everything. Things will change. Her father is now ill. She wants to have more control so that she can be able to send more money home than she used to. Now I'm using only women, but it doesn't mean that these things apply.
Even for men, with the school, values change.
Values change. I remember somebody sharing one time, he said before he got married, he would be the one to say, do you feel like eating suya? Let's go and eat suya here. Let's do this. He said, but the moment they got married, and coincidentally, 9 months exact, they had twins.
Okay.
And then he looked at himself in the eyes of his children and said, now I am a father. I have to be responsible.
No more suya, eh?
He said all of a sudden, like he hardly remembers that there's suya being sold. Because
And for the woman, would that affect their relationship? Because almost like you were doing this before we got married. Now kids have come.
You understand?
we are not
That
having-
has changed.
So instead of saying, because I've given you children, you have changed, is something has changed. What is it? How? I've noticed this. What's happening for you?
So communication.
Yeah.
So
Flexibility.
talk about it.
Flexibility. I keep
Flexibility.
screaming flexibility.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. We never remain the same people. My
After
husband
marriage.
didn't marry me as a marriage counselor.
Tell me about it.
So he married a construction expert, somebody who's driven.
For real?
Yes. I was practicing all the while.
Oh,
yes, I was practicing all the while. It's just the last 2 years I've stepped down a bit because I'm doing more of this, right? But I was practicing all the while. In fact, my dream was to build one of the world wonders. That was where I was headed.
Oh, wow.
That was who he married. I have changed. I'm not the same person. My goals have changed. Where I'm headed, what I'm focused on has changed. And initially it was beautiful. You know why? Because he also was in the construction space. So we have a project, we travel together. We have a project, we sit at home, I'm doing the design, he's looking at something. So I call him and say, wait, I'm thinking of this. We look at it together, and that has gone officially, because I don't do that most of the time now. Once in a while I still do, but most of the time now I don't. So imagine he looks at me and says, you have changed, therefore our marriage cannot be. No, we are flexible. How can we maintain connection even though we don't have this expression anymore? So the husband is no longer buying suya and all those things. What else can we do to spice up? Or is there a way we can balance this? So we know that we have children. We know that this is where your focus is now. Can we balance it? Is there a way we can keep just a bit, to have that kind of fun, because it's also a way we connect instead of accusing each other.
That's a lot. So flexibility, for me, the lessons have started dropping because a very important point is the fact that, because you see a lot of people get married and they want things to remain the way that it has always been. I mean, this is who I am. You can't come and change. This is how. I know people. I've spoken to people because I get to counsel people as well, who say that they had a certain picture. People marry with a certain picture of what their marriage should be like, and so as soon as that picture begins to shift, everything begins to fall apart. There's either their partner or the joy just begins to leave, because this is not the picture of what I wanted. I wanted the home that is this, that my wife will do this. And this is talking generally, right? And I kind of like where you took off from Banks when you said it's not even just about bills. It's about the people, marriage itself, the institution itself, and understanding the things that come with the institution. And pretty much what you said is flexibility, but in a different language, because you're talking, there will be tests, there will be exams, there will be, you've put a word to it. And for me, that's very profound. But I have a very important question. So it's great to speak about marriage as, we should do it together. There should be no rules and everything. But I feel like that's even something we hear more now than we did in the past, number one. And number two, I'm wondering if that is actually a realistic expectation. And I'm speaking generally. Because I think that nature has had a way of positioning what a man should be and do and what a woman should be and do. Do you agree? Maybe not. But anyway, my question is, are they cut out expectations that you can't exactly take away from a woman and a man? This is leading on to get to finances. I know that's the focus now, but let's even talk generally. In a marriage, are there certain things that we expect? that a woman would do. That when it doesn't happen, because we do it, whether we agree by the level of our exposure or not, we do it. When something goes wrong, you're looking for the woman. It's the woman's fault that this did not do. When this spoils, say, the man is the reason. What did the man do? Well, you get is where we are. So truly, thanks. Are there certain things, and this is us just being honest, because that's what this is about. I have a couple of opinions that I'll, of course, read, but when we get there, I'll do that. But do you think there are unspoken rules or spoken or unspoken rules or expectations from a man and a woman in a marriage?
Okay.
Or in a relationship, safe, because especially marriage, because marriage has a way of making you sign.
Okay, I understand that a man has a frame. There's a frame. There's a way we're wired.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's a way women are wired.
Right.
So, and that brings me back to understanding one another.
Okay.
It's about understanding each other. But when it comes to what exactly men must do this, women must do this, the role of, I think is culture.
Right.
I think they are more culture birthed.
Okay.
For me, seriously, because the only problem, that's why I said in the beginning, is willing people. The only problem is if I start to wash plate, start to clean, which I don't see. I've gone through the journey to kill culture and myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm expecting that, okay, probably my partner
to be able
understands
to see, right.
And we are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So if I keep washing plates, keep doing the chores, keep doing, and then the woman feels,
she relaxes.
Or how do I put it? Takes advantage of it. Then that's a problem. There's no balance. When there is imbalance, then there's a problem somewhere.
Okay.
Or on the other hand too, if, of course, I'm using the two extremes.
Right.
The home and then the bills now.
Mm-hmm.
If the man, for example, does everything, like, okay, even your lashes, I say, honey, can you please buy me lashes? You get, like, no matter what, there's a point the man gets to. And that is why you get to see some men cheat. You get to see some men put their hands in some things. Yes.
Because please tell us the reason why the men cheat.
For example, you have a wife at home who is
she's always demanding.
And then suddenly probably you went for a meeting and you met a lady who is
self-sufficient,
independent, and just like talks to you like, okay, can we, probably you even, coincidence, just brings you, can we have meeting on a cup of coffee? And then from there, you want to pay, and the lady said, no, I took care of it. Don't worry. Just, like, okay.
Marriage coach.
So there are ladies like this, like you wonder there are ladies like this. And before you know, the lady's telling you what he's done, what she's done. I have this. And then, do you get what I'm saying?
Piques your interest, pretty much.
Before you know, if both of you are in the same space for a long time, the lady already caught your fancy. Like, okay, something I've not seen before. And that might just be the 20% you're not seeing in your wife.
Right.
That might be, but it's going to be big.
Initially, right?
Yes, it's going to be big, really big. Like,
it's going to seem like 100%.
100%, yes.
Because that's like the obvious need that you have, whether you're spoken about it or not.
Yeah, so my opinion is, sincerely, like I said, two willing people, two responsible people come together. And like I think you mentioned while you were talking, communication, communicate, and then just live. Live the life. Seriously, communicate and live the life. Understand each other and live the life. But if you start saying, okay, now me watch play till yesterday, and now you go watch tomorrow, it's just like she said, you're
putting roles.
You're bringing contract into relationship. And I think where the problem starts, especially for those of us that married in church.
Gang. Straight
Church.
bullets to church marriage.
Church presents to us a whole lot of things that at the end of the day, it's like a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know God for yourself, you're doomed.
Sure.
Seriously, if you don't know God for yourself, if you're leaning by what one bishop said or one that, you're doomed. And that's how marriage is.
So you've got to learn it for yourself.
I'm telling you, it's like no rules. You understand? Like, for example, something happened in your marriage, and then you're trying, just like I said in the beginning, that it's like a school.
Right.
But there's no past questions and answer.
It's almost like there are different ways to solve. There are different ways to solve a mathematical problem, right?
Understand?
It doesn't have to be just one way. So find your own way, kind of thing.
Do you understand? So even if she has a past question and answer, by the time they give me that past question and answer, our personality, whatever, might just change the whole game. I don't know. I hope I
get it. Yeah.
Do you
I think I understand it, but I would want you to say something.
Yes, I want to say something. Okay. You know, when you talk about marriages being unique and all, they also rest on basic principles.
Yeah, principles.
Yes, but the how is the difference. And that's why I often say that sometimes people come on social media and ask for advice. The advice only goes to damage their relationship further, because the advice is not taking into cognizance the people. The people, they are a critical factor. So what you want to do first is to understand their system. So sometimes when some people ask me, I remember somebody sent me a message and asked me for advice. And then I asked him a question. I asked him a second. I asked him a third. Then he now said, wait, am I in an interview or an advice? I said, well, if you see it as an interview, then you are free to leave, because I didn't chat you up. You chatted me up.
Because you needed help.
Yes, you needed help. But I cannot give you help for something I don't know. I cannot say this is the way.
A blanket response.
Yeah, because I don't know you. You guys are two different individuals. In fact, sometimes I don't have the answers to your problems. Right. What I can do is, because I understand the structure of human relationship, I can help guide you to find your way. And you know, sometimes it's interesting, because what I ask you is, okay, have you had a problem like this? What did you do to solve it? Have you applied it here? And many times it's like strange wisdom, because it had worked for a different situation, but they did not think that they could cross carpet that same solution for something else.
Right.
So I wanted to say that. Then back to the question about whether there are specific roles and all. Now, biologically, we are wired different. Right. And hence, it makes it that one of us is more prone to something or more disposed to that. Yeah. Now, if you look at men, the structure of men and how their biology, even from their brain activity, is wired, they are wired more to be protectors, defenders. Right. So it's just like you have a pride. The men stands to guard the pride. The women are not so designed to be alert. And in fact, if you put a woman, especially a breastfeeding woman, in a place where she has to be alert, super alert for security, for safety, it begins to affect the production of milk.
That happened to me.
And how much she can soothe her babies.
It did.
Yes,
it did.
Because she's not wired for that. So if we were to
that's it.
Stress, exactly. Yeah. If we were to do an experiment here, we just hear a sudden loud sound. We would calm down 20 minutes before you. Yeah. We would calm down. Our nervous system, our heart rates will come down 20 minutes before yours. Because
you'll still be alert.
You are designed to protect.
Wow.
So normally, if a man is really angry, one of the ways that would help him regulate faster, that's primitive man, is to retaliate. But a woman will calm down. Then when you ask her to retaliate, her blood pressure will shoot up again, because she's entering a space that is not hers. So biologically, this is why women are nurturers. This is why, especially the first initial years of children, the woman's presence is important. It's not like men cannot fit into that role, but it's more a feminine role than it is a masculine role because of biology. And so the same thing for security, for defense, we look up to the man. So do you know that this is the unconscious reason why more women are attracted to men who have that six-pack, that
it's the sense of security we feel.
It's the sense of security that it provides. It's an unconscious guide to say, oh, I can be safe with this man. If there's danger, he will show up. Mm-hmm. He will be there to protect.
Six-pack men
that will run away.
Yeah, so it's an illusion, right? Because there are other factors that go into protection.
Exactly.
Not just
how you look.
Yes, not just the six-pack.
So I've got a couple of comments from social media, and that's what I'm going to be taking now. Quite a number of people have responded. Of course, the question is, should bills be split in a relationship? And here are a few. So this person says, if a man is thinking of 50-50 before starting a relationship, he's already setting himself up for failure.
True.
This one is a pretty long one. I'm going to read everything. It says, even when you cater to a woman's needs, conflicts will still arise, and sharing financial responsibilities will further implicate matters. In such situations, it'll be very challenging for the woman to maintain respect and admiration for her partner, which is essential for a healthy relationship. I do advocate for mutual support. I believe men should strive to marry someone they can provide for at their own capacity and support in every way they can. While it's understandable that women may need to take on financial responsibilities temporarily, let me say that again. Ideally, this should be a short-term arrangement until their partner regains stability. This way, both individuals can maintain a sense of dignity and respect in the relationship. All this 50-50 talk and what do you bring to the table, in quotes, alas, Shebi, we can see where it's heading to. Well, we're seeing the consequences. Let the woman play her role in peace, which is taking care of the home and nurturing her kids and supporting her husband. I've been married for 10 plus years and I've never done 50-50. So I have an idea of what I'm talking about. That ends. Another person says, sometimes depends on how huge the bill is and partner's capacity. This one says, the man's job is to honorably provide shelter, security, safety, opportunities, and lead the family to prosperity. The woman's job is to nurture in her femininity, build a family, and create a home. These things intersect, but everyone should do their job. If you chip in, fine, but it's not your job. Do your job. It's the emphasis for me. This one says, nah, it's the man's job to foot house bills. Women's are angels. You guys' job is to sit and enjoy. What women go through monthly, every woman ought to deserve a standing ovation in heaven. Okay, so he's just saying women should relax and be taken care of, basically. So another person says, no, but women should support, straight and simple. Always the best. Anyone can pay for anything. So this person agrees that bill should be split. Yeah. So maybe not like we should put a sharing formula to it, but like it should go both ways. There shouldn't be. This one says, if now you're supposed to pay DSTV and money no day your accounts, it means the whole house go wait be that. Okay. In my home, someone else says, we are a team. That's why we know they get issues when it comes to bills. Naturally, I want to handle almost all. But if I'm unable to, my wife steps in. Some days I don't get money to pay DSTV. She does it. That's an example, I'm sure. Sometimes school fees, she can pay half ahead. I balance the remaining when I get it. Vice versa. No sharing formula. And we know they borrow each other money. Anybody who gets money at that time, we spend it and the person laughs at us. So no pressure. We are flexible. I think that's what that last person is saying. When if this person can handle, this person handles. So I have another question over time. I feel, and I think I've seen it, that from counseling and people who take counsel with me or who speak to me, for every relationship where the woman is footing the responsibility financially, I noticed that there's an imbalance. There's some friction. So yes, I know we're saying, oh, whoever has should do. I can't speak directly about that because not like I can't do. I was almost saying it doesn't happen in my case. No, it does actually. We've had seasons. I speak for my marriage. We've had our seasons where hubby was trying to find his balance. My up was not up there, but Asha was financially like there were returns. And I'm grateful for my husband. He's a hustler any day. But I know there were times when, things were the way they were. And the little kobo that was coming from my end was a sustaining factor. But at this point, the man has paid me everything. Lost Jara, like... I jokingly say that in my relationship, it is your money is our money, my money is my money, your money is our money. And I will speak for myself, for real. It's pretty much, if you ask me what's the rule in your relationship, it's if I say I'm bringing my money in, it's because I just feel the sense of responsibility to do that. Because I personally believe that this man gives me the room to thrive and make my own money. So why not? Why not? But it's not because it's like an obligation. Yeah. And I'm just grateful. I'm not saying that what if the chips go down? If they just go, who is thinking of who is your... It's just that sense again of we put the chips up. Anyhow, we need to get it done because things need to be done. Like you said, there are kids, there's all of that. So I agree with the flexibility, but I'm just saying, I just thought to say, and I know there are a lot of people like me out there who believe that my money is my money. Mister's money is our money, right? But back to my main question, and I think I had another question pop in my head when I said that. I'm sure to come back. But do you think that it is possible to spoil your partner, whether it is man or woman in this regard? So you have even spoken for the woman, where you were saying, because you just let us into how men think. When a woman becomes too demanding about everything, including her personal needs, it can seem like pressure for the men. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay.
Because you're saying lashes, hair. What you're saying is, what I hear is, allow us take care of do the heavy lifting.
Okay, let me say something. From even before I got married, my mindset was, Omo, you are the
leader.
You're the opomulero, if you understand what I mean. Do you understand? You're the one who should take the major, take everything. Not even, there was no point sharing. I remember when I was dating my wife. My wife, as at then, was in school. She was working with I don't know if you remember Shane. I think Shane was paying her then. I think about 20K. Normal allowance from home was like 40K. So she was
rich kid.
She was really okay. And me, I was the one that was going around. Go and clean this house. Go and wash. I was hustling, like seriously hustling. And in my 2K, couple from there, I will never say, Alpha, babe, never. I will be the one to. She didn't even have the culture of saying, Alpha, guy, this is a gift for you. She never did. So I personally, my attitude, my own way of life actually taught her that. So then they give gifts, that kind of, that kind of thing. So even if I had only 100 naira, there's someone who I'm thinking about.
So there was a sense of
no matter
responsibility.
how small the money is, if before that money finished, that person must get 1 naira inside. That was her. Do you understand? So it went on like that, and I feel that's why a lot of times I've tackled guys that will say, ladies, they want what ladies they want is money. I say, you don't want money?
Good question.
It's the truth. don't you want money? Your version, the version of yourself now, do you like it? And you want a woman to like it and to take you for who you are, you're not
even willing to take yourself for who you are.
Even you don't want to take yourself like this. You want more. You understand? So how much more? Do you understand? So I'm not saying a lady should be wild, or just like we're saying during the break that you should. I've forgotten how you put it, but I just feel a man should be responsible enough to know. And we've had conversations, and you said something about everything. Just have the mind that you are taking everything.
Right. Don't have the mind that, there's somebody else there to foot. If they're feeling great.
If you're feeling great. And, was it last term? I've paid some part of the school fees. And, as we were going on, suddenly I just got a message. I paid so and so. I was so grateful. So
it's no entitlement.
I was not expecting it. I was so grateful. I said, wow, babe, thank you so much. I'm really grateful.
So my question, and let me send it to you. Do you think men can be spoiled? So I understand you're a good man. You're not spoiled. So I asked the first question, but I'm asking this question. I don't even think we've answered the first one, but anyway, we'll find a way. Do you think a man can be spoiled? My first question, of course, is the sense of imbalance when a woman is taking on the responsibility of the home. I've seen that linger. And maybe that's something we should speak about. And it connects to men that when a woman is beginning to feeling because she believes that, it's mutual. It's us. We're a team. And then she begins to just, she has money. Let's pay the fees. She has money. Let's do this. Let's pay the rent. Let's buy the house. Is it possible for the man to now get spoiled? Or the opposite partner, since we're not even talking is the man's responsibility, woman's for the other partner to get to a place where they get spoiled now and they relax, and then it becomes pressure. So as it relates to my first question, in the dynamic between a man and a woman, with the woman on the other end, is it possible for the man to get spoiled to the place where it becomes a burden for her?
Okay, so I would say possibly. It doesn't happen to every man. First off, the man in question is the thing. I've seen it happen with certain men who now feel like since their wife is taking care of the home, they now have free money to play around, and then they begin to play. So, like I say, that's why it's not one size fits it all.
Right.
If this becomes the case, then the woman has to backtrace her steps.
Right?
Yeah.
How does she do that?
Stop. I told one woman one time, I said, because she had been complaining, we went through the relationship, she had been talking about how she had stepped in here. Right now, the man is not doing much. He says he's in ministry, and his ministry does not, he's in full-time ministry, so nothing comes in from him. Wow. She's taking up all the responsibility. She's feeling a lot of pressure, and she cannot even discuss her pressure with him, because once she brings it up, is it because you're paying the bills? His ego comes in there. Because sometimes when they say a woman's character changes when she has money, sometimes it is the man's ego that
makes her become like that.
Yes. So I told her, I said, what is the worst that will happen if you don't provide a meal in your house today? The children will go hungry. Will the children die for
just that period?
For just one meal missing, will they die? And she's like, my children, what do you want me to do? You get, so that thing comes in. But
the nurturer comes alive.
Yes, the nurturer comes alive. So I asked her, is there a way you can get your children what they need to get so that you are sure that they are safe without exactly doing it for the family? Because she had to backtrace. It's as simple as that. Sometimes that is the way to get the other person back into the frame. Yeah. But when they do, the best approach now would be to have a conversation. So, look, I observed this, and this is happening. And then when I did this, I also observed this. Can we have a conversation so that we bring it back to the table and are able to discuss it mutually?
Right.
If that is not possible, Patrice, ask the woman, because yes, there's a lot of imbalance that happens. It happens for the woman, it happens for the children as well. Because imagine children who have to go to their mother for everything and they don't see that the father is relevant in any way. It has its effects. It's just like how children also, there's also the imbalance with how we raise children, where a father is practically absent in the lives of the children and only present with handing out money. So he doesn't have a relationship with the children.
Right.
By the time the children are grown, it's only mommy they remember, not because she told them anything about him. It's because they had a connection that he missed out on while trying to fix finance. So it's the same thing that happens here. There will be that imbalance for the children. It will also skew their perception as to what should happen in a family when their mother has to carry all the bills. And remember that when women carry all the bills, if a man were carrying all the bills and a man comes home and says, "Where's my food?" it will not be interpreted as being arrogant.
Exactly. Exactly.
So a woman who carries the bill has to do extra work as well.
That's right.
With her words, because everything she says will come into scrutiny. Is it because she's the one that paid school fees last month that she's telling me to pick the children today? Do you understand? So those things have to be discussed. They have to be brought out, and conversations have to be had about it.
So I agree with the place of flexibility, and we're about rounding up because time just is never enough. What I'll say, based off of this conversation, and so far, I'll say what I've had in mind is, number one, flexibility is a major thing in relationships. It's important for you to just understand what works for your relationship, understand the dynamics that flow. So I can't even say, by nature, like we say, for the sense of security, I feel like part of the security that a woman desires to have from her man, whether you blame it on society or nature or nurture, is finance, is provision. You can't take that out of, is what our society, that's what from birth, that's what you're taught. It is that the man is going to be the provider, right? Like I said, it's now that we're having this other mindset where we're saying, oh, this is actually about harmony. In your marriage, that's what I've learned to call it. It's about harmony, the flow of your relationship, because there are no hard and fast rules with every, like you said, there are basics. And I wanted you to mention that, by the way, before we go, with every relationship, basics, but at the end of the day, the how is determined by the people who are in that relationship. So with where we are as a society, you can't take away the expectation, the way that there's still the expectation that a woman is supposed to clean, supposed to cook, supposed to nurture, you know? So whether you're talking about it or not talking about it, in the minds of people, including your partner, there's the thinking of, oh, this place is a mess. Why is it a mess? So whether it's society that has made us like that, there's no food. Like the first person that comes to mind, there's no, those expectations are still there. You can't rule them out. You can't exactly rule them out. I like flexibility, but I think now what's important also is communications. Because in the midst of this, I mean, there was a trending video of a woman who said she had been married for 20 years and had not cooked one day in her marriage. And Jesus, the world came, Africa came for her. It wasn't the world, because I'm sure in the West, like I said, it's our culture. The generations, well, they came for her. And at the end of the day, I'm like, it works for them. Is the man complaining? Did he meet you? They found what works. I'll personally speak for myself. I know I'm a woman. I don't quite enjoy cooking. I'm sorry. It's what it is. I cook tasty meals. I cook good meals when I do. But I can't tell you that, I'll just walk the street. If I get somebody who I can outsource, I will outsource. It's one of the first things I'll do. And there's sometimes the burden of, even now that I also have people to fill in that role, because of society, I can't tell you that there are not certain times when I feel like a sense of guilt that, I'm not the one doing it. I've kind of accepted that, this doesn't come to me naturally. But I also can't take away the fact, that there's no sense of guilt that, oh, I can't, but I mean, and this is me headed towards 40. I'm not even in my 20s. It's not a new marriage, but society. So there's the pressure of that as well. But at this point, let us do our final words because we're rounding up. I had a bucket load to say, but I'll just let us finish, right? But I'm sharing this because these are the reasons why I thought that it was necessary to have this conversation. These are conversations that we'll have today, and they will continue. We'll continue to have. But using myself as a case in point, how I deal with that is, for example, I know that my husband will say, and there were times when we had to have conversations about that earlier in our marriage. But now, one time he said, see, just ensure that the food is there. I'm not okay with that. In fact, I feel my husband enjoys cooking more than me. He doesn't just have the time to do it. But there's one time that we went to the kitchen and he's like, please excuse me, I'm preparing, served my niece, He enjoys the act of being creative. I'm not dead there. It's not, I'll just cook for everybody, but people must eat. It's not the type that I'll say. So that's the sense of responsibility. I can't say that because I do not like to do this, then there's nobody to do it and I don't care. No, I will ensure, what are we eating today? You see, what are you eating? I get it done. I ensure it's sorted. And that is our understanding, and it is good enough for us. So the same applies to when it comes to bills and money, I guess. And I believe there should be that flexibility. So understand each other, understand your strength, understand your weakness, understand the struggles. Yes, a man in our society, especially a man, is supposed to provide. But what of when you see that he's doing the best that he can, but it's not just coming together? And we're not talking about the man who is lazy and using his ego to cover for it, which creates more damage, by the way. How do you strike that balance? So, Gbenga, let you say your final words, and I'll let our marriage coach, and Nami can't turn like coach, just they talk.
So finally, we talked about responsibility.
Yeah.
Talk about flexibility.
Yeah.
We talked about communication, which is very, very key. I remember earlier in my marriage, I remember my wife, at the point I lost my job. So I was just there, waiting to get something else to do. And she just woke me up. I'm like, I know you're trying. You need to try more.
You got to try harder.
Try harder. And sincerely, looking back, I realized that it's not every man that would take that. Which also is bringing me to the point that people should let ego
sleep.
Let it sleep.
It just causes more problems.
It causes more problem. Because from there, I stood up. I didn't even know where I was going. I went to, what do you call it now? Site. Let me just get something. I must get something. I must take something home today. Do you understand? And do you know, just that step alone, I got a call. Okay, there's this, okay, can you come? Of course, I'll start tomorrow. That's how the job came. Another job came, started. Do you understand? So I believe that God sees our heart. If you're not, you see, ego is one of the major problems.
Right.
So if we can let go of it, allow, and like you said, harmony. We've said it's something that is coming up. You know, you were talking, and so one of the things that came to my mind when you were talking about this whole thing about a man was entitlement spirit. When you are too entitled, when you get to a point, somebody is helping you and you are entitled to it, is a problem. I don't know if I can say this on the TV. I don't know if I can say this on the TV. Like, for example, I stay in Basiti's house.
You can't save anything.
God. I stay in a house up to now. You can ask her almost in a month. I must come to her room and say, God, you know what? Thank you. I know the burden that has taken off me, even coming to Abuja to be able to find my...
Because it's the new phase of life for you. That's why.
My balance and everything.
Yeah.
So that entitlement spirit, you just have to kill it in marriage. And harmony, I think...
Harmony.
Yeah. So for me, where I would end this would be talking about, it's not all about money. You didn't get married to share bills. It's not a competition. Because we also are going to another extreme. All of us go to work. We leave the house. We leave the children uncatered for. We leave them to nannies, to TVs and all to raise them. So somebody is out there and saying, "Oh, we decided that I should step down to take care of my children. What happens that I'm not providing? We didn't make my husband go out." No, it will not. As long as you have a value you are adding to his life.
Right.
So don't just sit and become the nurturer and like stay home. Also be able to have intellectual conversations with your husband. Get interested in what he's doing.
What he's doing.
Impute there. So you're not giving him money because right now you are probably in a phase where you are taking care of
you can't
children,
contribute financially.
But be valuable. When people ask that question of what do you bring to the table and they narrow it to finance, they are so narrow-minded.
Very narrow.
Finance is too narrow to put everything into it.
Nice.
What are you bringing to the table? Bring value. Make sure you are contributing and you are helping your man to grow. For some men, they need somebody who is there to push them. I've seen women push their men into greatness. I know you can do this. Stop sitting down, do this, meet this person. And they're like, how far have you made that call? You know, and they're there and their men are hitting it and making it big. But they are the success behind that success. They are the true story behind it.
Thank you.
Amazing.
See, this can't end.
Amazing.
See, you've given Benga final words. But we have to round up now. I'm sorry. See, producer has put hand up.
Amazing.
Wait, is that to say we should stop or to say?
I want to suck.
You want to suck her head into yours. So it means that's profound. That's my producer. Thank you so much for having us. And Nancy, you'll be back here. We'll have many other conversations, you too. So best be ready. But thank you so much. And I hope this was a meaningful and a useful conversation for you, especially as it concerns your marriage and relationship, because we talked about things beyond just bill splitting, right? Be sure to be part of our conversations. Follow us on our social media platforms at The Pathfinder TV. Ensure you're commenting on the posts that we make. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get inspired by the content we put out there. And also remember that when we ask questions regarding the topics that we want to speak about, we would love for you to send in a video opinion. So comment, yes, but we give priority to video opinions, as you most likely will be seeing at the end of this conversation. So if you want to put on your ring light and you believe you have something to share about the conversation, please, by all means, join us and you'll be part of this and the episode on which we'll be speaking. Take care. My name is Mbasti Jesse. See you on the next one. God bless you. Safe.